Just spread your sail, Circe told me, and the north wind will carry you directly to the black shore. Beach your ship and go inland, looking for the lake where the river of fire and the river of tears meet. Dig a trench there on the shore, a forearm's length on each side, and sacrifice a black lamb and a young goat. The spirits of the dead will soon appear, drawn by the smell of blood. Have your men quickly burn the carcasses and sacrifice to the 12 gods, while you draw your sword and stand over the trench. You may see spirits you know, but let none touch the blood until Tiresias appears. Question him about your journey, and he will tell you everything. Elpenor, how did you get here? You were with us yesterday. Captain, it was my ill luck that brought me here, more swiftly than your black ship. I had drunk too much and gone to sleep on Circe's roof in the fresh night air. I was roused by the sounds of the men marching out to the ship, but in my commission I missed the ladder and fell headlong, snapping my neck. Captain, I know you must go back that way again, and I pray you, by the love you bear me and the long years we served together, burn my body, raise a monument for stones for me, and plant it atop the long oar I pulled in my life. I promised him, and his spirit faded back into the darkness. But then came another shade I knew too well. Anticlea, my own beloved mother, who had still lived when I sailed for Troy. The sight broke my heart, but I kept my sword out, and she held back from it, until finally I saw the man I sought. Tiresias.
So, great Odysseus, you come to me for prophecy and advice. You want to know how you can return home to your beloved island of Ithaca.
Yes, great sage. Tell me what you see. How can I complete the journey?
You can only reach home by disciplining yourself and your men. Heed my words. You must not touch the cattle of Helios, the sun god who sees all. If you love if you leave those sacred beasts unharmed, your ship and all your crew will reach Ithaca safely. But if you allow your men to kill any of Helios's cattle, then your ship and crew will be destroyed, and you will suffer more long years at sea. You'll return at last, but under a strange sail, unrecognized at home, and your palace overrun by enemies, suitors who seek to eat up your flocks and claim your wife. Once you have killed these men, whether in open combat or by stealth, and put your house in order, you must take your oar with you and travel inland until you reach a country where men know nothing of ships or the sea. You will know you've reached the place when a stranger asks you what it is on your shoulder and thinks it is a flail or some tool for threshing grain. There you must plant your oar and make a rich sacrifice to Lord Poseidon, a ram, a bull, and a breeding boar. Ask for his forgiveness for putting out the eye of his son Polyphemus. Then return home and make rich sacrifices to all the gods in turn. If you do this, then death will come upon you peacefully in old age with your loved ones around you.
Your words mix the bitter and the sweet. But tell me this too. I think I see my mother there, shadowy and insubstantial. Is she really among the dead? Or do my eyes play tricks in this place? Can I speak with her?
Yes. She is dead. It is simple enough to speak to any spirit here. Just allow them to taste the blood, and they will converse with you.
Oh, Mother.
My son, are you still at sea? Have you not set foot on your native Ithaca, or comforted your wife?
No. Is she well, Mother? Is my son well? And what of my father, your husband, Laertes?
Your son is well, stout and strong of limb and mind. Your wife pines for you, stoking of lords with salt tears. So does your father. He has exiled himself to the hills where he sleeps with the shepherds.
And you, Mother, how did you...
I do pine away, waiting for your return, until in my grief I took my own life.
My mother's shade faded away, and through my tears I saw a crowd of famous ladies approach. I let them taste the blood one by one and asked them who they were. Alcmene, mother of the mighty Heracles. Epicast, who unwittingly married her son, Oedipus. Iphimedia, who bore the twin giants Otus and Epimetheus, so strong they challenged the gods of Olympus, and 1,000 others. To name them would take a whole night, and more. But come, Alcinous, great king, you must all be weary from my long tale by now. Odysseus, my friend, look around you. You hold us spellbound. It's not yet midnight, and we all want to hear the rest. Go on. Sleep will wait. Tell me, did you see the ghosts of any heroes, your famous comrades at Troy? I did. First of them to approach was the High King, Agamemnon. He related the story, so familiar now to all the world, of the treachery his wife had planned for him when he returned to Mycenae. His good advice to me:
Don't let anyone know your home until you have ascertained the state of affairs.
Then came the greatest Achaean hero of all, Achilles. Oh, great Achilles, how fortunate you are! Godlike in life, and even among ghosts you stand lord over all.
Flattering words as always, Odysseus, but spare me your praise of death. You don't know what it's like on this side. I'd rather be plowing a furrow or the lowest servant in some peasant king's employ than a lord among these empty souls. But since you are still among the living, tell me of my son. Did he prove himself in the war? Uphold the line of Pallas?
Never fear, Prince. Young Neoptolemus joined us at Troy, and proved himself both in council and in battle. When we waited in the wooden horse, he alone moved not a muscle, and never grew pale, or showed the whites of his eyes, but gripped his spear, and silently implored me to open the door and command the attack. After we had sacked the city, he sailed away with the Myrmidons, his body unmarked by a single scar. Now I saw not past the gatherings of dead men, and into the depths of Hades. I saw King Minos sitting in judgment over the damned. I watched the great hunter Orion, and the torments of Tityos, Sisyphus, and Tantalus. I saw the mighty Hercules towering over all. It must have been a vision, for his soul feasts with the gods on Olympus. I wished to see still farther, to meet Theseus and other heroes of ancient days, but the gathered spirits began a shrill keening, and pressed in on all sides, and a sudden terror seized me. I called to my men, and we broke and fled for the ship. We returned to Aea, and burned the body of Elpenor. The next morning, Circe sent us on our way, with good provisions and a following breeze. She also warned me about the dangers that lay on our road, and I informed the crew of all but one. First, she told me, you will come near the island of the Sirens, whose sweet song lures sailors to certain doom. You must plug your crew's ears with beeswax and tell them to row on without stopping. But if you alone wish to hear their song, tell your men to tie you firmly to the mast. If you cry out for release, they must only bind you tighter. After you pass the Sirens, you will have to make a choice. You will come in sight of an unbroken line of jagged cliffs where the sea rages and boils on sharp rocks. Steer well clear of this, for no ship that approaches can avoid being wrecked. Even birds who try to pass that way are caught in drowned drafts and perish in the spray.